AJ,
I
don't do that.
understand hit detection. I don't. Jason, I'm not AJ. I'm your mom.
That's right, I forgot.
Yo, what is up guys? It's ZefpheX here, back with another video, and today we will be talking about an important topic, not one that I specifically want to talk about as a supporter of Friday the 13th the game, but I think this is a topic that should be brought up and discussed. I'll also be updating you guys with news about the content guide map released for the game, as well as other DLC news, so be sure to stay until the end of the video if that sounds interesting to you. And if you guys enjoyed this week's video, feel free to smash that like button and subscribe for notifications on future Friday the 13th the game content. I want to start off by saying, as a huge Friday the 13th fan myself, I think that this game is far from dead. I am a supporter of the core elements that make up Friday the 13th, the 7 vs 1 asymmetrical open world gameplay, the authentic experience taken directly from the films and made into a video game, and of course the multiplayer aspect. This game is clearly a creation by beloved developers to the fans, and I think that the concept behind this game is absolutely brilliant. But I can't deny the fact that the player base for Friday the 13th the game is slowly withering away, at least on the PC version. If we take a look here at the Steam charts, when the game was first released, it had a peak of 16,000 players playing this game at one point, and throughout the last month, the peak amount of players only reached a little over 2,300. All calculated, that is a decrease of 85%, which is pretty alarming. And of course, being that this is a multiplayer only game, if we don't have players that play the game, then we can't play the game. Now, I don't think that the console versions of this game have this low of a player count because more people generally play on consoles, but I do think that there is a decrease on there as well. However, there isn't really any definitive way to tell how many because there is no published player count in the game. But even from my standpoint, as I own the game on PC and Xbox One, when I do get on Xbox One, I notice that none of my friends play Friday the 13th anymore. So the player base for Friday the 13th the game is in fact decreasing, but why? Well, as most of us know, Friday the 13th the game suffered a disastrous launch with game-breaking bugs, broken servers, game crashes, and many other issues. The Xbox One version of the game didn't even get a day one patch on day one, and it was by far in the worst state compared to PC and PS4. Thankfully, however, the developers worked day in and day out to fix many of the big problems that plagued the game. Fast forwarding to today, the PC version of the game is pretty solid. I've only ever experienced a few minor glitches that have not hindered the game enough to make me want to stop playing it. The Xbox version seems to be finally catching up, but still has some minor server issues and in-game glitches. I can't say much about the PS4 version because I don't own a PS4, but I think it is in a similar state that the Xbox is in. The question is, how many people got steered away from playing this game because of how bad it was at launch?
To all my friends that I told to get this game, I apologize.
The game itself is fun. The idea of it is good. I like the mechanics of it. It's more in depth than I thought it would be. But 8 out of 10 games crashing on me. 8 out of 10.
I personally loved the game, but it did frustrate me when I couldn't finish a match because either the host quit or the game simply crashed. Today we know that the game crashes had to do with a massive memory leak, which is currently being fixed now. And of course, rage quitting is no fun for anyone because when the host leaves, you lose all of the XP that you earned in that match. The game 100% needed dedicated servers on launch across all platforms. And for whatever reason, the only platform that has dedicated servers currently is the PC. However, it was confirmed on the 22nd of August that dedicated servers are coming across all platforms. And if you guys don't know what dedicated servers do, basically instead of a match being hosted by a player, it is instead hosted on a server, so no matter who leaves a game, it will not kick you out. This is a huge improvement for console players, and hopefully they roll that feature out soon. Another reason that could contribute to the loss of player base is the overall performance on consoles. It's not necessarily that the game looks bad, but the frame rate is awful sometimes. This is especially notable when you first spawn in at the beginning of a match. We are talking about frame rates lower than 30 FPS, which the game is capped at. I don't quite understand why we can't manage to get at least 30 frames per second at all times in the game. After all, it isn't that graphics intensive. I don't think that anyone appreciates poor performance, no matter what system that you play on. Even on PC, I experience times where I can't manage to get a solid 60 frames per second, and that's with an i7 CPU and a GTX 1070. While taking all this into consideration, let's not forget that this game released as digital only at $40. That's sort of expensive for a multiplayer only game. I mean, personally, I could see like $25 or $30 for the game. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I just think $40 is a little bit too much for what this game has to offer. Another reason why I believe that some people stop playing this game as frequently is because they simply got bored. And I think that is due to one of the core elements of the game. We have the ability to choose whether we prefer to be a counselor or Jason. And when you get to play as Jason, it's like earning a prize. It doesn't happen that often. I rarely get to play as Jason, even though my preference is set as him. And it's understandable why, because probably most of everyone has their preference also set to Jason. So what I'm trying to get at here is that basically it's a random system of who gets chosen as Jason, and I just don't think that it works. I mean, when I get on Friday the 13th the game, I like to play as Jason and play as the counselors within 3 or 4 matches. I think that a lot of players get on this game and then get frustrated because they can't play as who they want. Friday the 13th the game needs a new system that decides which player is going to be Jason. It could even be frequency based, and what I mean by that is, let's say I played as Jason one game ago, it would keep account of how long ago that I played as Jason, and then it would look at other players as well to see how long it was for them, and then choose based on those statistics. Or we could have an entirely new lobby system, similar to the way that Dead by Daylight works, where you join the lobby either as a killer or survivor. But I think the former would be easier for the studio to implement. Even after talking about all of these things, I still don't think that Friday the 13th the game is going to die out anytime soon. The developers are definitely devoted to fixing the game, making changes, and also adding new content. Dedicated servers and performance fixes are on the way for consoles, so that should definitely help out with the fluidity and enjoyment of the game. And also, speaking of new content, Gun Media released a content guide map which gives us a brief idea of when we will be getting every piece of DLC up to next year. There is a lot of information on that content guide map, so be sure to check that out. And also guys, we have new pictures that have been released for every character in the game in their Spring Break 1984 clothing attire. I will leave those pictures for you guys at the end of this video. But that is all for this video guys. I would love to hear your opinion about all of this. Your comments and feedback are greatly appreciated. Also, I want to give a shout out to those who watched my live stream last week. I had an amazing time playing Friday the 13th with a few of my friends, and you guys seem to enjoy it as well. Anyways, thank you for watching this video. My name is ZefpheX, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.
Yeah.